So everything starts getting real mellow, and I said, is this how I'm going to die? Is this really how I'm going to go?
You're seeing yellow spots because he's choking you out.
Yeah. But I ran up, put my hand on my weapon, and I said, sit down. And I knocked them both from the squatting to the... I knocked them on their ass.
How do you end up in prison, Gary? I'm confused.
So am I.
You didn't shoot somebody?
No,
you didn't
sir.
beat their ass?
No, sir.
This is Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags.
He was sent to prison for doing his job. Literally, the man was doing his job. He got the training. He used the training, stopped a drug dealer coming across the border illegally, and got fired and imprisoned, prosecuted by a Republican appointee, this guy Johnny Sutton. I'm talking about Gary Brugman. He's with me right now. Gary, good to see you, brother.
Hey, good to see you.
It's always good to see you. Gary and I have been
friends.
a long time. We've been friends for a long time. First interviewed Gary in 2007, I think it was, when I was filling in for Glenn Beck on Headline News. You were a guy that I hadn't really been that familiar with, but once I heard the story, once I realized what part of the world you're from, I knew that we would be kindred spirits. We've been brothers ever since. That's almost 20 years now, Gary.
Yeah,
Can you believe that?
Yeah, we actually did radio, I think, before that, because then we did that Headline News. Yeah.
Right, and then I was like, yeah, let's get Gary on there. And your story was one that really bothered me, because it was during the Bush administration, right?
It was, yeah.
So you're at the border, you got your training. You're a former Army guy, right?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, former Coast Guard.
Yes, sir.
Served in the military. Thank you for that. And then you become a Border Patrol agent, and you figure, I'm going to go there and I'm going to protect the border. I'm going to protect the sovereignty of the United States of America.
Exactly.
For some reason, the Bush administration took the side of a drug dealer over you. And I want to go back through the steps. I don't want to tell the story. I want you to tell the story. You're at the border one day. You're getting people crossing illegally. This guy ends up being a drug dealer.
Right.
Crosses illegally, and he's not listening to your orders, and you have him. What ends up happening? Because he, for some reason, was the star witness that the United States of America used against you, a guy that put your life in the line for this country. Just take us from that day. Well, how did you have it running with this guy?
Well, here's the thing, Joe, all right? It's a little more intricate. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Get into all of it.
But on January 14th of 2021, I was already a Border Patrol agent about 3 years. I was working the south end of Eagle Pass with my partner, and a group of illegal aliens came across, a group of 15. The scope truck was out, which is our night vision truck, and he detected them, so we started heading that way. My partner was going to cut them off at the river. I jumped out, and I started chasing them. I chased them for about a mile and a half, full speed. You know, I was 33, 34 years old back then, full speed, running 38 pounds of gear on, and I was losing them because they kept jumping over fences, going through concrete laterals. Another agent and his trainee rolled up on me, and they said, which way are they going? I was kind of out of breath. I was like, they went that way. And they started going after him.
Right.
They got to a point where they couldn't cross in the vehicle, so the trainee, 4 days out in the field, right, jumped out and started chasing them down. He caught the group, was trying to get them to sit. They were sitting down. He was going like this. Some were sitting, some were standing, but there were two right behind them that were squatted down. They were doing this number, and I didn't know if they were going to jump the agent because they were right behind. He had his back completely turned,
right.
all his batons and everything exposed, or run away. They had already been apprehended, so it would have been an escape.
And so from your training, you see these guys look like they're about to do something.
They were doing something, yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Right.
Right.
And I was still running towards them. They didn't see me. I was still flanking them, and I ran up, and Joe, I know we've never seen each other in person to demonstrate this, but I ran up, put my hand on my weapon, and I said, sit down. And I knocked them both from the squatting to the, I knocked them on their ass.
Good.
And that was it.
That's it. That's all you did.
That was it. That's it.
You actually said it in Spanish. You said, siéntate.
I said, siéntense. And,
right.
and then I said, ¿por qué están corriendo? Why are you running?
Right.
Why are you running? That comes into play later on down the story.
Right.
And that was it. They got taken, transported away.
They broke the law by coming across the border.
They didn't have drugs.
It doesn't matter. When you come across the border, 8 U.S.C. 1325
right,
says
1325.
You committed a crime.
Right.
It's a misdemeanor crime. And if they came back, if they've already been deported, it's a felony.
Right.
So you got people broke American law.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You said, sit down.
They weren't following.
Where are you going? What are you running for?
Correct.
And then, how do you end up in prison, Gary? I'm confused.
So am I.
You didn't shoot somebody?
No,
you didn't
sir.
beat their ass?
No, sir. No, sir.
So take me to the next steps. What happens?
So that was January 14th. On February 22nd, which was actually my anniversary day for the Border Patrol.
Yeah.
I was working a midnight shift, and another agent had narcotics.
Between those dates, nothing
6
happened.
weeks. No, sir.
6 weeks, nobody says anything.
No.
Go
Another agent has narcotics, a group of 7 bringing narcotics across the river. So we respond to back them up because the rule is where there's 46 traffic, which is 1046, which means narcotics.
Right.
There's guns. So we go to back them up. By the time we get there, everybody had scattered. They had jumped the group. They were scattered. There were 7. We caught 5. And there were 2 that were missing, and the infrared camera tower from the station, camera operator says, hey, I got him in some tall grass a couple of fields away, kind of guided me in. I had my night vision. He was like, okay, till your 10 o'clock. And then I saw him with my night vision. I slung it over my shoulder. And I said, all right, I see him. I went over the fence. I started walking towards him. And when they saw that I was heading towards him, they got up and started running. And again, there I am in the chase again. Párense. And I was about 8 feet behind him. I could almost reach him. They got to a fence line. They knew they weren't going to make it, so they banged the right. So I was still on them, ran about maybe a good 50 yards. And then one of them, the first guy, went through the fence in between the strands like Superman. And they do that a lot. It's really impressive to watch.
Wow.
It rips them apart. But they just dive and beat. I was like, ooh. I get goosebumps thinking about it. The other guy was too close to do that, so he hit the fence and flopped over.
Yeah, Gary, are you on the border? Are you we're from the border?
We're maybe 100 yards from the river.
Oh, wow.
100 yards from the river. And he hits the fence and flops over, and I have momentum, body armor. I said, I'm going to. So I hit the fence, flopped over. Now we're all on the ground on the other side.
Wow.
First guy gets up and runs. The second guy, the one that flopped over, is getting up, and I get him by the legs, and we start tussling, right? And I'm trying to get him back down to the ground as I get up, but I didn't realize that he was maybe about 5'5".
Yeah.
He was like this wide.
Right.
And as I'm trying to tussle with him and wrestle with him,
fat guy or muscle? I mean, you're
muscle,
big muscle guy.
Yeah. They backpack stuff across.
Right.
Yeah.
They got to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing I know, I see my boots and the stars in the same picture. Body slams me on the ground.
Wow.
Knocks all the wind out of me. I'm like, ugh. Next thing I know, he's on top of me. He's got his hands on my neck. So I take a swing at him and I miss. Then he grabs my hand and pins it to the ground. I grab his collar. He's wearing a polo shirt, and I'm pushing off. And he's got my as I tell you this, man, I can still smell his body odor.
Right.
And I can taste his sweat because he was dripping sweat right onto my face. He was wearing a polo shirt, and I was like, if he had my hand, I was like, if I get my gun, that's where I'm going to put the bullet right there.
Right.
I was like, and all this went through my head in a matter of seconds, Joe.
Right.
Like, I'm going to have to turn my head. I said, I'll probably lose an eardrum. But then I started seeing yellow spots.
At that point, it's survival.
It is. And now I'm terrified because I'm out of breath. He knocked the wind out of me. I'm struggling. And as a border patrol agent, I'm on the ground with this dude on top of me, one hand on my neck. And everywhere I look, it's tall grass. All I see is grass everywhere around. I got my earpiece in, and I hear the station freaking out, going, somebody get to him. He's in a fight. He's in a fight. And the agents can't see me. And I can hear them running around, but they can't see me because I'm in the tall grass. So everything starts getting real mellow, and I said, is this how I'm going to die? Is this really how I'm going to go?
You're seeing yellow spots because he's choking you out.
Yeah. And he's only got one hand, but I was already out of breath. I ain't got no air. I can't get a good breath. Everything starts getting mellow, and I was like, nah. And then I remembered academy training. It's like, if you're a shot, you will shoot back. If you're a shot, you will not die. I said, I'm not going to die here. And I literally yelled out. I said, God, please help me. I yelled it real loud. God, help me. I instantly broke his wrist, clocked him on the side of the temple. He fell over, and now I rolled over on him. I immediately put my forearm on his throat down to the ground. Now I'm on top of him. We're both lying next to each other.
Right. And
now his arm's underneath me, and I feel him grabbing at my handcuffs. And academy training, they're like, if he gets your handcuffs, those are a gouging instrument. They can. And I'm like, dude, you're reaching for my stuff. I got knife. I got baton. I said, all right, this is going to end here. So I wound up, Joe, and I cracked him in the nose. Good punch. I cracked him again. I felt it break on the second one. His eyes rolled back. And I hit him one more time. And he's like, oficial, ya no me pegues. Officer, don't hit me no more. I was like, well, then stop fighting, you son of a gun.
Yeah. Right.
And I said in Spanish, but no pelees.
Right.
And another explicit.
I'll bet. Yeah.
And then he just lied there. He just lied there. And
how long did all that happen? How long? A few minutes?
You know what? It was probably less than a minute.
Wow.
But for me, it felt like 20 minutes.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah.
And then I just held him there, and I can see when I lift my head up, I see other agents running around, and I called him over. They dragged him and cuffed him up, and I just lied there on the ground trying to catch my breath. They're like, dude, you good? I'm like, can't breathe. So anyway, that happened. Processed the guy, turned him over to the DEA, took him to the hospital where he got medical attention, and that was it. Last I heard, he got sentenced to 57 months in prison.
Wow.
6 weeks later, I think it was March 5th, after
Again, nothing about the first incident comes up.
Not at all. Nothing. March 5th, 2021. Mind you, this is all still before 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
My supervisor, Jimmy Hellickson, calls me into his office. I just got back from the range, just qualified. I was cleaning my weapon, actually. And he says, Gary, he goes, I'm going to need you to unholster your weapon, make it safe, and put it on my desk. I'm like, what's going on, Jimmy? He goes, I'll explain to you after you do it. I trusted this guy.
Yeah.
He was a good watch commander. So all right, you got it. I did it, put it on the table, and he says, you're going to be working in the camera room until further notice. You're under investigation.
To taking you out of the field.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on, Jimmy? What's happening? He goes, to be honest with you, we don't know. It's not us. It's not the Border Patrol.
So somebody say, take him off of active duty, put him in the camera room.
Yeah.
And you're under investigation.
Correct.
At that point, you don't know if it's the fight with the guy you just had. You don't know if
that's what I thought it was.
Were you thinking at all it was the first thing where you kicked the guy to sit down?
No. You know how many guys, Joe, all this stuff that you're seeing on TV right now with the Border Patrol,
yeah.
I didn't do a fraction of that stuff.
Right.
Which is what worries me about these guys, too.
Yeah.
But I didn't, dude. I pushed the guy on the ground. I knocked him on his butt.
So you're under investigation. How long until you find out why you're under investigation?
14 months.
So for a year and 2 months, you're just in the camera room?
Joe, from the day they took me off the line to the day I went to trial was 18 months. Not once did I ever see an investigator. Nobody ever asked me my side of the story.
How can they not interview you?
That's what I said. Nobody ever even asked me a question. And
so it was about the first thing.
Yes. So here's the other thing. So I've replayed that second incident. I have it so clear in my head because I've replayed it for 14 months. What did I do wrong?
Right.
I used verbal commands.
You thought it was about that?
Yeah. I mean, what else could be? That's the only use of force that I had.
Right.
I had a shooting before that, a gunfight before that I was cleared of. I was like, so it wasn't that. I was exonerated on that one. And so I played it over and over and over. Now, the guy that I pushed on the ground, his name, this is the wild part. His name was Miguel Angel Jimenez Saldana.
Okay.
Right? So, but the guy the drug smuggler was Miguel Angel Rodriguez Silva.
Oh, wow.
So when I got the letter from the U.S. attorney saying that I was a target investigation, they had the first guy's name, and I'm like, Jimenez Saldana. And then the date didn't match. I was like, what the hell happened on this day?
Right. Didn't even register that could have been what it was.
No, not at all. And I mean, it was such a non-incident. I pushed the guy on the ground. You know how many guys I've pushed on the ground in my career while I was there? And everybody else?
You have to have control of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't even a reportable, situation.
And everybody else saw you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like they're like, Gary, what are you doing?
No, I wasn't hiding anything. I mean, we push guys on the ground all the time. That's what we do. We get into tussles with them all the time.
Right.
Unless there's a serious injury, it goes unreported.
Right.
So like all these guys right now, I mean, everything you're seeing on TV, none of those are incidents because they're actually getting into fights. But like the pushing on the ground, that's not a recorded incident. That one lady that got pushed on the ground, that's not a recordable incident.
So for 14 months, do you go back to your commander and say, dude, can somebody tell me what's going on?
Nobody knows. It's not the Border Patrol.
They never told them.
No, it had nothing.
Why did Johnny Sutton, who was the U.S. attorney at the time, why did he target you? How did he even get any information that you did something questionable?
So here's the deal. The procedure when you have a complaint, when an illegal alien has a complaint, they'll notify the supervisor. Supervisor will notify the Mexican consulate. Mexican consulate and the supervisor will meet up, interview both parties,
right,
and come to a conclusion whether it's going to be a letter of reprimand. Nothing happened, letter of reprimand, days off, or if it goes criminal, they decide from there. Apparently, this illegal alien saw the Mexican consulate leaving the building, had a chat with him, and he left and called the U.S. attorney. U.S. attorney went to the office of the inspector general, and the inspector general came down on me.
Wow.
Circumvented everything. My bosses knew nothing. Like, we don't know anything about this.
So all of this happens, and 14 months later, you get word of what? We're arresting you?
No, that I was a target of investigation.
But after 14 months, when your time in the camera room was done and you were facing the charges,
right?
How do you find that out?
I got a trial date.
We're charging you with what?
18 U.S.C. 242 subsection B, deprivation of rights under color of law.
Come on, man.
I'm serious.
Deprivation. And the deprivation of rights was that you kicked him?
that I violated his civil rights. His
No,
civil
you
and
didn't. He was under arrest for breaking the law.
That's exactly what I said. And you know what? I not once did I ever deny knocking him on the ground.
Right.
Because
you've always been honest with me for 17 years, 18 years,
whatever it is.
whatever it is.
It is a technique that is taught in the academy. We
Right.
do it kind of like a kata in martial arts. We do batons and kick. It's an extension of your arm.
Yeah.
I don't deny doing it, but what I did wasn't a crime.
When you found out it was about that guy and not about the big fight guy, it was about the kick and
thought I was
the sit-down
scot-free.
guy. Were you like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the deal. When I was trying to find out who that incident was, when I got the letter, I couldn't remember who it was.
That one didn't even register in your mind.
When I tried to find the paperwork on it, it was gone. When I looked into the files on the actual computer, there was a 6-week block of paperwork that had disappeared.
Come on.
I'm dead serious, Joe. I went to the files, and all the files were there except for that one paper that I needed. It was gone. That one 213, which is the arrest form from the alien.
What about the witnesses, all the Border Patrol agents?
But I didn't know what incident it was, so I didn't know who to talk to.
Oh, so you literally didn't know what
I
they
had
were
no
talking
idea.
about?
You know how I found out?
How?
One thing they missed. I went back to the muster sheets, the roll call.
Yeah.
And I went back to that date to see who I was working with and where. And I was like, I remember what happened that day, and that's how I figured it out.
So they've got you. They've got all the Border Patrol agents there as witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they believe the bad guy who came across the border?
Because,
was he an informant, Gary? Am I misremembering that?
No. The second guy was a drug smuggler.
Really? But was there an informant involved?
No.
Because this guy was the star witness against you, right?
The drug smuggler. They brought him into the trial. But the thing is,
So they brought the second guy in to show how violent you are, or something.
But it didn't even form a history because it
dude.
happened afterwards.
Come on.
Right, I'll tell you about that, son. But let me tell you, it's the guy, the illegal alien. He didn't do anything. He didn't even say that I hit him. But let's get to the trial. So
you're being charged with deprivation of rights of somebody who broke the law,
Right.
that you were detaining
Yes.
because you caught him breaking the law.
Right.
But you're allowed to do that. You're law enforcement, and you're enforcing the law.
Apparently, I did it the wrong way. I did it by the book, which obviously isn't the way to do it.
So you get to the trial,
Yes,
and
sir.
you know that's what you're facing.
Right. Yes, sir.
Deprivation of rights of somebody who had no right to be
I
here.
couldn't find an attorney because at that time,
Nobody would defend you?
the ones that would wanted the $50,000, $60,000 retainer. I didn't have that. I found an attorney out of Houston who worked in civil law and in civil rights laws, and I paid him a $20,000 retainer. And but I couldn't find anybody to take the case because back then it was unheard of. You know, back in 2001, it was like, what do you mean civil rights?
But it sounds like a slam dunk case for you. Why wouldn't somebody take it just to get the publicity?
That's what I said. But nobody wanted to take on the federal government.
Wow.
You know, but
And this is Bush's government.
yes, sir.
Johnny Sutton was appointed by him.
Yes.
Why did Johnny Sutton have it out for you, do you think? What was he trying to prove?
Well, you know what it was? At that time, Vicente Fox in Mexico was putting pressure on Bush that Border Patrol agents were mistreating illegal aliens. But every administration does that in Mexico. And Bush wanted to come down and because, you know, he's got connections down to Mexico and family connections. And it's just, he sicked Johnny Sutton out on us.
Wow.
I mean, he did the same thing to everybody. You know,
So
and Johnny Sutton and Bush were really tight because I believe Johnny Sutton's father was the Bush family doctor.
Well, there you go.
You know,
Well, Johnny Sutton doing that to you was disgusting, but he did it to you.
right?
And you're found guilty.
Yes.
Where do you go to federal prison?
Oh, Joe.
Was it here in Texas? Where was it?
No. They picked me up. They brought me here to Texas, and to the Geo prison downtown, which is a contract prison, and then they put me on Con Air and flew me to Coleman, Florida.
Okay.
And there was a low, and it was a federal prison at the low. That's where they put all the scum of the earth, all the informants, and all the. I call them all the seedy ones, you know.
Yeah. Right.
And it's just no respect, no nothing. Everything's like a cubicle. It's like a squad bay, you know. And if you sleep on the top bunk, you see everybody else, and if they want to fight you, they just come in because there's no doors. It's all cubicles, right?
Wow.
So then I ended up getting into a fight there. I got jumped, and I kind of split somebody's melon. So I didn't catch a case because I'm the one that got jumped, but I got sent to the penitentiary in Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah, they put me on a bus, and they gave me what they call diesel therapy. I was traveling for 16 days.
Diesel therapy?
Yeah, 16 days where they shackle you, hands to your legs, and put you on the bus, and they drive you to all over this, wherever they got to go, and then you end up back almost like at the same place. And for 16 days in transit, just to wear you down.
Wow.
When you get there, you're just beat to nothing because you're on the bus forever. And it could be anywhere from, I've been on it for 6 to 16 days. And when it got to the penitentiary in Atlanta, man, I have never seen any big black guards that size in my life, Joe. I mean, these guys were huge, and they scream on the other side of the prison. I was jumping up in my freaking, but I was sizing one up, and I'm not huge, but I'm not a small person.
You're sizing up the guards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because their waists were up to here on me.
Right.
And their thighs were the size of my waist. I was like, I've never seen anybody so freaking big. And they put me in this, Joe. They put me in this place in the penitentiary in Atlanta, and I was in solitary. A cell made for 2 people that had 7 people in there. And it was top bunk, bottom bunk, toilet, sink, and a locker. And there was a guy in the top bunk, guy in the bottom bunk, guy underneath the bottom bunk. They had a twin mattress here with 2 guys spooning. One guy.
Wow.
So that's 5. They had one guy wrapped around the toilet bowl.
I couldn't do it.
And I was on the floor underneath the sink with my feet on the toilet bowl using the roll of toilet paper as a pillow.
And you're there because you told an illegal alien to sit down.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the trial for a second.
Yes, we skipped that whole part.
Well, I mean,
there's a lot of the trial, Joe.
Well, it's unbelievable that you were found guilty of anything. But what was the case they were making? This guy's out of control. This guy beat the hell out of somebody because he was Mexican. I mean, you're Hispanic, so they couldn't say it was some racist
so
thing.
The judge I had was William Wayne Justice.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You had no chance then.
No, none at all. And I didn't know that back then. And my trial started in Del Rio, and they had Judge Justice had said, I think this case is better held in San Antonio, better tried in San Antonio. I agreed. Right? I wanted to get off the border. I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
But then next thing I know, I'm in Austin, and I was like, I didn't agree to
No,
Austin.
Austin's not San Antonio.
And they said, too bad. They pretty
Did
much.
Johnny Sutton himself prosecute the case?
No, but he was there. There was another AUSA by the name of Bill Bauman, but Johnny Sutton was there.
They had to paint a picture of you as a bad guy?
Yes. So they had
Coast Guard veteran.
Yes.
Border Patrol guy for years.
Yes.
Would die for the country.
Absolutely.
I know you. You would die for the country.
Absolutely.
And they had to get you in prison.
Yes.
Can you make sense of it?
No, sir. Still can't. I grew up in a rough neighborhood in Brooklyn, and, I wasn't the most model citizen when I was young. I mean, it was the 70s in New York City. I was a gang member, all that stuff.
Right.
It was the days of the Warriors, And all my life, 70s and 80s, I've gotten some trouble, but I avoided going to prison, and I finally joined the military. I didn't know what to do, so I was like, let me do this for 4 years. I ended up staying almost 9.
Wow.
Then I went to the Border Patrol, and I was a reserve cop. I was a reserve police officer in Florida, too, in Homestead for a little bit. And I said, dude, I got my life on track. I'll be able to retire at 51.
Yeah, you were good.
Yeah, I'm golden. And then this happened, and I still haven't. They prep you for everything, all kinds of situations, but they don't prep you to go to prison. So at the trial, on Monday from the morning till noon was jury selection. Trial started at 1300, 1 p.m., and it went on to about 5. And then the next morning by 10:30, they had rested on the case, on the guy that was being prosecuted for. But then they added additional evidence. They're arguing that they're having a sidebar. I see them bantering back and forth. And my attorney comes up and says, hey, they're bringing the drug smuggler. I'm like, what are you talking about? The judge admitted. I said, what are you talking? And the next thing I know, the door's open, right?
Gary, the witness they brought in, just so people understand, was the guy who almost killed you that night.
Yes, sir.
He was the star witness for them.
Yes, sir.
To prove that you were a bad guy.
Correct.
By the way, let me stop for a second because my daughter Sam is here. She's the executive producer. Did you understand the reference? It was the days of the Warriors. It's a movie. I'm a bad parent. I need to show you the movie. It's a movie about the gangs in New York, and it was a really good movie. So we'll have to watch that one weekend because Sam was like, "Oh, the days of the Warriors." It was a movie. It was kind of a big deal. So the guy walks in, and do you immediately know who that is?
Oh yeah. He walked.
And they called him New Evidence.
Yes. He walked in and he scanned the room, and I was kind of sitting where Sam is right there. He walked in and he saw me, and we locked eyes together. And he started walking in, and he had a U.S. Marshal in tow because he was still in custody.
Wow.
They ridded him out of prison.
to tell the world how bad you were.
Yes. So, and he's walking, and as soon as I saw him, I stood up. My lawyer's like, sit down. I said, get off me. I stood up because I wasn't going to be sitting down if that dude decided to charge me again, you know? And when I saw him, all I saw was red. And him too. And he walked all the way, eyeballing me all the way, sat up, swore in, sat down, crossed his arms, crossed his legs, and I was like kind of where you are, and he looked at me. And we just locked on together, and they would ask him a question, he'd turn around. He had an interpreter because he didn't speak English. He had to answer a question, turn back to me for 4 hours.
Wow.
I didn't move from this position with my legs crossed for 4 hours looking at him.
And the jury believed a drug smuggler who's doing prison time.
Yes.
Did they know he was in prison when they brought him in?
They had Marshall with him.
The jury was told, this is a prisoner that we're bringing in to talk about this guy's character.
Yes.
Wasn't at the scene of where this event happened. You hadn't even seen him yet in your life.
Nope.
He's serving time for that day, what happened that day.
Right.
And he's the reason you went to prison, you think?
Well, part of it because they spent the next 3 days on that case that I wasn't even charged with.
Wow.
And so they had, Johnny Sutton was there, and then they had Bill Bauman, which is
you must have had a suck lawyer, Gary. I got to tell you something. That guy should not have been admissible.
I don't know if I say I did, obviously, because I lost. But
good reason, yeah.
But we just didn't have the money to fight the federal government because the federal government had the U.S. attorney sitting there, but he didn't do much. He was just sitting there talking on the prosecution side. You had the assistant U.S. attorney. You had the woman that was handling all the production with the projector and the evidence and stuff.
Right.
And then they brought down a guy named Brent Allen Gray. They brought him down from Washington, D.C., who was a civil rights trial lawyer. They brought a specialist in for me, Joe.
They had to get you convicted.
Yeah.
It is Gary Brugman, former Border Patrol. By the way, that conviction's gone now. You probably don't know that yet because we haven't gotten to it. What blows my mind is that you had witnesses that saw what you did. Mm-hmm. Witnesses, I guess, that would have testified that that's what our training is to keep them under control.
Well, that was their caveat, though.
Did they have a bunch of witnesses that came on your side?
I did. They had.
Did those other agents
two witnesses
testify
against me.
for you?
They had two witnesses against me.
That were Border Patrol?
Yes, the trainee and the
trainee that you probably saved his life that day,
right? And his partner. So Joe, basically, what happened? I knew his partner. Partner was a friend of mine, and they broke the trainee. They scared him to death and got him to say everything that he wanted. Because these people, the federal government, tried to change the time of day. Because remember I told you that the scope truck was out?
Yes.
The scope truck is one that saw these people, and the scope truck doesn't go out. It's an infrared truck. Doesn't go out to sundown. So the truck didn't even go out till 6, 7 o'clock. So, and this incident happened about 7 p.m. in January, which is, kind of dusk, half light, half dark.
Yeah, right.
Right, it was about 7:15 p.m. They tried changing it to 3 p.m. because they want to make sure that this trainee saw everything. It didn't happen at 3.
Wow.
He swore it was at 3 p.m. But the illegal alien says he was running away from the flashlights, And this trainee says, yeah, he came, he kicked him, and he got on top of him, and he punched him so hard I could hear his breath coming out, and he actually said that.
You didn't punch the guy?
No, I never laid a hand on him. And then he says, and he grabbed another guy, punched him, and maybe some punches to a third guy, but those guys weren't there.
You're just punching everybody.
Yeah, I was punching everybody.
Yeah.
And the illegal alien, who was a second witness, says, yeah, he came and he kicked me to the ground, but he didn't punch me. He said he didn't punch.
So the guy admitted you didn't punch him?
Yep. He says he put his knee on the back of my head.
But the trainee said you punched everybody?
Yes. Yeah. And then like this was like a year and a half later, the illegal alien couldn't remember what side I kicked him on.
Wow.
I kicked him so hard that he couldn't remember what side I kicked.
It's ridiculous. And again, it's an obvious frame job to make Vicente Fox happy.
Yes. I mean that's the only thing I can make of it, Joe.
What leverage does that guy have on us?
No idea. Well, maybe he has some leverage on George Bush. I don't know.
So you're convicted.
Hold on, there's more.
Go ahead.
There's more. So my lawyer, while the alien's on the stand, Jimenez Saldana, he says he has me stand up, and he goes, "Is this the guy that kicked you?" The alien looks at me and goes, "I don't know."
Gary, what are we talking about, dude? What are we doing?
Yeah.
How many jurors were there? 12 or 6?
12.
So you got 12 jurors, and they unanimously said you're guilty of deprivation of an illegal alien's rights.
Right. Correct.
By kicking him to stay where he's sitting.
And I think
was he bruised? I mean, the guy doesn't remember who kicked him, which side you kicked him on.
Nope.
So he's not the star witness. The star witness is the guy that tried to kill you one night.
Yeah, because they turned the trial into the trial of me and the drug smuggler for me breaking his nose. because I documented that. I took pictures of them. They used my own pictures against me. Yeah.
So you took pictures of the damage that you did to him to get him off of you.
Right, because, I had
and they used that against you.
Yeah, I had my one of my old, actually the trainee that was working with me that night, John Parham, the U.S. attorney tried ridiculing him. This guy ended up retiring from the Border Patrol, being a seasoned Borstar guy.
Wow.
Right? An incredible guy. As soon as I met him, he's just an incredible Border Patrol agent. And a lot of times he's like, man, I'm just ready to get out, because I said, no, you need to stay and make a difference.
Yeah.
Don't you dare leave this damn job. I used to tell him. I said, I lost it. Don't you dare leave it. And he stayed. He stayed. That was one of his big reasons. But he's sitting there and he was testifying, and the AUSA was trying to ridicule him because he wrote the paperwork. We always make trainees write the paperwork so they get experience. So you wrote the paperwork on this big case, on this big drug bust as a trainee. I don't know why. And in this case, you said the subject got a minor scrapes and bruises, and they put the picture up behind him on the wall of his broken nose and stuff, right? And this guy was a combat medic in the Army too.
Right.
He goes, Agent Parham, take a look behind you. Look at that picture. Do those look like minor scrapes and bruises to you? And he turns around, he looks at the picture, and he looks at it. He turns around and he goes, yes. I almost fell out of my seat.
Well, good on him for doing that.
But it was the whole trial. I say, Joe, it was
you weren't convicted because of that fight. You weren't convicted for kicking the guy.
Correct.
The jurors saw that and said he did something bad. So
the civil rights trial attorney, my attorney gave closing arguments. The AUSA did. Then my attorney. Then the civil rights trial lawyer had the last word, and he took his podium and put it right in front of the jury.
Okay.
Right, like he was preaching to him, and he was really, really good, because for a split second he had me convinced I was guilty. I was like, am I guilty of that? No, I didn't do that. And but yeah, I believe it was him that brought the jury on it, because at this point, I had a bunch of witnesses, my supervisors, and in the past 20 years that you've been covering the border, Joe, almost 20 years here in San Antonio.
More than 20, if you can believe it.
Right. Yeah. Border Patrol doesn't stick up for its agents a lot.
No, the hierarchy wasn't
right. They won't. All my supervisors stood up there and said that was a good agent. All my supervisors and watch commanders said, yeah, if he's going to jail for this, we should all be going to jail for this, because we taught him this.
Wow.
They said this is what we taught him.
So, Gary, I mean, if I'm hearing you right, without that drug smuggler fight and the pictures and all that, the jury
would have been a one-day trial.
It would have been over.
Yeah.
They had to get you, though. And you think it's because of some sort of leverage that Vicente Fox had on us? It had to be. I mean, why else? Because you didn't do anything wrong. And you were not being tried. Just so we're clear, you weren't being tried for the fight with the drug smuggler.
No.
But he was the guy that got you convicted somehow.
Right.
Dude, let's get into prison time. What is the sentence?
27 months.
27 months in prison.
Yes.
For a boot to the side or to the back.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody knows where you kicked him. He doesn't remember anybody who kicked him.
Yeah. The
trainee thinks that you punched everybody.
Yep.
It's just it's a ridiculous case. So I'm thinking on appeal, this is thrown out easily. Did you appeal?
Yes. I went to the appeal. I went to the Fifth Circuit.
And what happened?
My attorney presented the evidence. There was three judges, Judge Dumas, Reevely, and I believe it was Anderson, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And they asked my attorney, a couple of questions, this, that, the other thing. This girl, young lady by the name of Tova Calderon, representing the government, showed up with a binder. They asked her questions. She was looking through. The judges were like, so this is such a big case to the government that they sent you, young lady, how long have you been practicing law? She's like, 2 years, sir.
Wow.
So they sent you with a binder. They couldn't even come, do this themselves. That's how important this is to them. And I was like, wow, I won.
That's easy.
I'm getting it turned over. I'm going to get the station of my choice. I'm going to Miami, And again, I don't know what it is with the 6 weeks. Six weeks later, they wrote the exact opposite of what they said.
Really?
Yeah, of what they said in the courtroom. So the final word on the appeal, Joe, was they said I didn't use excessive force.
Okay.
But my intent was malicious.
How do they know what your intent was?
Apparently, during my testimony, when the U.S. attorney asked me, he goes, so how much, when you kicked him, how much force did you use? Did you use all your force? I said, yes, absolutely. I said, you apply the you apply the minimum amount of force necessary to compel compliance. But when you apply force, you apply 100% of force until you get that compliance.
Yes.
Right? You don't say, well, Joe's 240, I'm 220, I use 110%. Sam's, 110, 115, maybe I'll use 6. No, when you apply force, you apply 100% of the force.
Your job is to control the person.
That got me convicted. That made me lose the appeal because I said I use 100% of my force.
How much time did you do?
2 years, 24 months.
Out of 27? Why?
Yes. Because you do 80% of your time in the feds.
Wow.
Yeah, I did just over 2 years.
I thought you would have done like a third.
Nope. The feds, you'll get very little good time. Yeah, so I did 24 out of 27.
Well, plus you were fighting everybody the whole time in prison, so
yes.
There wasn't a whole lot of good time.
Yes, the Mexican population wanted to kill me in prison.
Well, did they know why you were there?
Yes.
So you've got people there who are bad guys.
They knew I was coming.
Some of which came across the border. Some of which they were all convicted felons at that point. We got a border patrol guy.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Not good. In Coleman, Florida, that's the whole reason I got jumped. Now, I was aware of it because some Mexicans that I did know told me that it was going to happen. So I was kind of ready for it. And so that's how I was ready with it.
And you speak Spanish, so you know what they're saying about you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then in the penitentiary in Atlanta, I was there for about 3.5, 4 months. Then they sent me to Yazoo City, Mississippi.
Why do they keep moving you around?
Safety, they say. I don't know. They sent me to the prison in Yazoo City, Mississippi, which was another. I was there during Katrina. And you had all these guys.
2005, yeah.
Yeah, 2000. I was in prison all of 2005, from 2004 to 2006, all of 2005. And you want to talk about some people getting restless in prison when their families were down in New Orleans and down in the Ninth Ward. Yeah, it was a crazy time, and a lot of fights, a lot of stabbings went on in prison during that time.
Did you get any? This is a dumb question, but did you leave prison without any friends? Did any of those people look out for you? You were looking out for them.
Yeah,
do you have to make that kind of community in there?
At Yazoo City, it was kind of crazy because if you can have a best friend, I had two good friends there, and in all my time in all the prisons in 2 years, I probably came across maybe two or three guards, sorry, 2 or 3 hacks that were actually good to me.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing: the first thing they told me when I went into prison, they said, "You're no longer Agent Brugman, you're inmate Brugman." And to the cops, I was a bad cop. To the inmates, I was a cop. So I was kind of stuck in the middle.
Both ends, yeah.
So I don't know if you remember back in I want to say 2001, 2002, they had a bunch of people called the San Antonio 8. A bunch of San Antonio cops got arrested for moving drugs.
I don't remember that, no.
One of them was in there. 2 of them were in there, actually.
Oh, wow.
2 of them were in there with me. And I made friends with one. I didn't associate with the other because I already knew about him. And me and him worked out a lot together. And then the guy in the room, in the cell next to me, me and him ended up being tight. He was from Puerto Rico, and he was a cop killer.
Wow.
He was actually a bank robber that ended up killing the cop on his last bank robbery when he got caught.
Wow.
And me and him were pretty much, if you have a friend in prison, it was like this. So, but yeah, it was, it was rough because they don't want to feed you protein because they don't want you getting big. They don't have any weights because of the Zimmerman Act. So if prisons have, and this was 20 years ago, at the time, if you had weights in the prison, you can keep them, but as they fell apart, whatever, you couldn't replace them.
Wow.
So all you could do is jump rope and calisthenics and medicine balls and stuff like that. So,
and like many days a week, you're doing 1,000 push-ups a day.
1,000 push-ups a day. Yeah, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups.
How do you pass the time? That's how you pass the time?
That's all I did, yeah.
And then just try to survive another day?
That's it, another day. And, there was one point I fell into a deep depression. I felt like a bucket of warm water fall on me. Kind of like the same day when that civil rights attorney in the bathroom told me that you're going to prison. I got a $50 million budget. Make sure you go to prison. You're going.
Wow. He said that to you in the bathroom?
Yes, sir. You're
going to prison.
So it was during my trial, and it was during
It didn't matter that it was you. It didn't matter what you did. It mattered that they got one. We got a bad border patrol agent, so
right. Yeah, and we were actually using the restroom, and it was late October. And Austin was celebrating Halloween.
Okay.
And you could hear the commotion outside, and he says to me, Halloween in Austin. He goes, you going out doing some drinking tonight? I said, no. You? And he's like, no, I got a trial to win. And I was like, you really think I'm guilty of it? He goes, it doesn't matter what I think. I got a $50 million budget. Make sure you go to prison. You're going to prison. Just depends how long. They were trying to get me for 7 years.
That is so screwed, man.
Yeah.
Gary, let's talk about you get out of prison and you're angry. When I met you, you were angry. I mean, you're still kind of an angry guy, I'll be honest with you, but you're a whole lot better. I mean, by the way, Gary and I have been friends a long time. We were like 2 months apart in birth. I was born in Long Island, from Metro New York. He's from Brooklyn, but we're kindred spirits that way. When I met you, though, and we didn't meet in person, it was over video link. You'd been on the show, I think, via phone before that. We did video link. I was in for Glenn Beck on Headline News. And I'm looking at you and I'm going, this guy's angry. I mean, and you were very nice. You were extremely polite. All the manners were there. You're like a military guy. But I saw a look in your face that, well, I can't believe what they did to me. Almost like I can't believe what my country did to me. How long did you deal with that?
I'll tell you.
Years and years? Am I wrong in how I described it?
No. There's something to that. And you gotta let me go through this process. So I got out. I was mad.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I didn't give a rat's tail about anything.
Yeah.
You can look at me sideways without me throwing a fist. I'd go to. We had the San Antonio Rampage here at that time, and I had gotten to know a lot of the players before I went to prison. And when I came out, they were still here. They gave me tickets, so I ended up getting season tickets to the games. And when they did the national anthem, I'd sit down with my arms crossed. I ain't standing up for this.
Wow.
You out of your mind?
The most patriotic guy I know, you weren't getting up.
Nope. No, sir. Sometime in late 2006, I got a phone call. I was like, what am I going to do? I need to register for college. I'm going to try to get my life back together.
And by the way, couldn't vote, couldn't carry a gun.
No, sir.
Couldn't be law enforcement again.
No, sir.
It took everything away from you.
I couldn't be a security guard at Walmart.
Took everything away from you.
Yes, sir. And I didn't know how to do anything else. The last 16 years, that's all I did was do law enforcement.
Right.
You know? It's like I grew up in Brooklyn, and, you know, for fun, we go to Central Park and rob the drug dealers. You know, take their money and their dope. Then I joined the Coast Guard.
What is wrong with you?
Then in the Coast Guard, we went to Florida, took their money and their dope.
You got
then
the drug
I come down
dealers,
to the border, took their money. I was really good at that, man.
The 2006 rolls around, and what happens?
So I'm trying to register for college, and I get this call on the phone, and I'm like, Houston, and it was a Motorola Razor, and like 713 Houston. I don't know anybody in Houston. I answer the phone and say hello, and there's a guy in a squeaky voice at the other end of it saying, "Is this Gary Brugman?" I said, "Yeah, who's this?" He goes, "My name's Ed Hendy. I'm a restaurateur in Houston, Texas. I'm a radio talk show host, and I'm also an aide to some congressmen. I heard your story last night. I'm wondering if you can tell me about it." I was like, "How'd you get my number?" He goes, "That's not important right now." 20-something years later, he still hasn't told me I got my number.
Right.
So I told him the story, and it was quiet. I said, "Are you still there?" He goes, "Gary," man, I almost want to cry when I say this. He goes, "Gary, on behalf of the United States, people of the United States, I want to tell you that you didn't deserve this. You didn't deserve to go to prison. And if you allow me, I'm in a unique position to help you change your life."
Wow.
And I'm like, "You're going to help me change my life?" And he's like, "Absolutely." The guy called me this morning. He hasn't left my side ever.
That's awesome.
Ever. And I was talking to somebody else. I said, "You know how much money that man has invested in me?" So then he helped me start a Macco tool truck when I had my Macco tool truck, remember?
Absolutely.
He's the one that helped me fund that. And him, Glenn Beck, a guy, what was his name, out of California, Roger.
I don't know.
Roger.
Hedgecock.
Hedgecock, yes, Roger Head. They all got on the radios.
I think he was actually from Milwaukee. I think he was in Wisconsin.
No, his studio was in California.
Was he in California?
Yeah, he was out of San Diego.
Yeah, go ahead.
He might have been from there.
I believe that he filled in for Rush a time or two.
Yes, Roger Hedgecock. So
all right, so the radio talk show community starts saying,
yes,
what the hell's this story and how can we help this guy?
Right.
Was that the first time since you were convicted that you realized that people would advocate for you?
No, not yet. Not yet. So all the funds started going to Ed Hendy, and his wife Nina was accounting everything, right? People were writing letters. I still have a lot of the letters at home. There was this one girl, 7 years old, named Nicole Van Meer. I finally met her a couple of years ago. Actually, right before I got COVID, I met her in Florida.
Yeah.
She sent me a letter, and I'll show it to you. She sent me a letter, and it says, "Dear Gary and Ed Hendy," he says, my dad has a weekly poker game, and I usually sell lemonade and give the money to the veterans. And my dad showed me your video, some video I did with Roger Hedgecock, and I'm going to donate it to you. It's $7.62.
Wow.
And he goes, I don't know what you did for them to treat you this way, but I hope you get to have a nice life like me. Mm. And that, along with all the hundreds of other letters that I got, it made me realize, I said, yeah, it wasn't the people.
Yeah.
This is the reason I went to jail, was to protect these people.
Yes.
You know, I said, and that's why everybody says, oh, I hate the government. I said, you can't hate the government. We need government.
Yeah.
Absolutely, would be chaos without government. We just got to control who's in government.
You were mad at the government. I don't think you ever hated the government because you knew that what you did was for good.
Yeah, I mean, I still love the government. I just hate some of the people that are in charge of it.
Yeah.
And hate's a strong word. I would try not to hate any. You know what? I've never once called Johnny Satan that name you call him. I've never called him that.
I just don't think he's a good guy, Gary. And I think
I agree.
I'm proven right by what they did to you. So let me ask you this, and this is a dumb question. How did we connect? Do you know?
Yeah,
I don't think I know.
I know.
Because before we had you on television in 2007, you and I had already talked, and I remember telling you I'm going to be in for Glenn Beck. Can you come on?
Yes.
So
you
how did
one
we
time when
connect?
I was in college. I had to take a break from my class when we did the radio.
Okay.
Frank Booker. He used to work out with you at your gym. He was my boss at Harley Davidson.
Gotcha. Okay. I had no idea
Yeah.
about the story. When I heard about the story, I went, this doesn't make any
He
sense.
had told me about you.
Can I be honest? I thought you must be lying about something. There's no way this government under George W. Bush and Johnny Sutton would go after you like they did and punish you like they did. This guy killed somebody and he's hiding it or he's lying about it.
No, sir.
And when I heard your story, I was going, Gary, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Everything I've said here today is in trial transcript.
Oh, I know. No, but dude, we've known each other 20 years now. I know. What you're saying is absolute truth. I couldn't wrap my brain around it because, like you, and not to the same level, I loved the country and I thought the country was out for justice.
Right.
I thought the country was out for good. So let's fast forward because we can go on for 7 hours.
Hold on, but there was this one
So
other
finish up on
radio
that.
talk
Go
show
ahead.
host.
Go ahead.
There's one other radio talk show host who used to have me on his radio show here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
He used to say, I'd like to welcome Gary Brugman, who ruthlessly and mercilessly beat the living daylights out of an illegal alien. And I was like, bro, you need to stop saying that. Well, if you listen to the federal government, that's what makes you think. I said, yeah, that's what they want you to think. But
Who is that?
You.
I did not say
Yes,
that.
you
Did I say that?
On the radio.
I said you ruthlessly.
Every time I came on your radio show, you were like, and here we
Here's
have
Gary Brugman. He beat the hell out of an illegal alien.
who
I guess I
ruthlessly
might have
and
said that.
mercilessly beat the living daylight. That's exactly. I was like, bro, you need to stop saying that.
But I get off the hook, Gary, because I advocated for you getting a pardon.
Oh, you've never forgotten me, bro.
I called you or I emailed you. I think I called you or I texted you and I said, why don't you have a pardon? I literally said, I asked the question, why aren't you pardoned?
Nobody was going to give me one.
And your answer was, who's going to give me a pardon?
Yeah.
I was like, I know this guy Trump. I can say things. I can send video. I can go through the chain. And I'm not here to say I got you the pardon. Don't get me wrong. But I think I'm the first person who looked at you and said, why don't you have a pardon?
You were, yeah.
How did that process go from there? But if you don't know, and if you're still with us this long into the podcast, thank you. Because this story, I could talk to Gary 7 hours.
It's a lot.
You're pardoned now. You are you're allowed to carry a gun. You're allowed to do law enforcement. You're private security now, and you're extremely successful. How did the process end up happening? I know I said to you,
Right.
You should be pardoned. What happened next?
So I got hooked up with Jeffrey Adicott.
Good
Right.
man.
Yeah, I got hooked up with Jeffrey Adicott. He immediately took my case pro bono through at the time was Center for Terrorism Law. Now it's the Warrior Defense Project.
Right, at St. Mary's College here.
Right.
Yeah.
And me and Jeff did a bunch of podcasts. And mind you, again, during this time, along with you, I've had Glenn Beck, I've had Sean Hannity, Sarah
Absolutely.
Carter, Bernard Kerrick. I mean,
Yes.
Bernard Kerrick put it the best in his book one time. He says, you can't fight the federal government.
Right.
They would just drown you till you're broke.
Right.
So
You can't outspend them.
you can't. You can't win. And I had built this whole network over the 20 years, almost 18 years, that when I finally got hooked up with Brooke Rollins, and she literally just made.
He's the Secretary of Agriculture right now, by the way.
And she, basically just made things happen. And it was because her and the team and everybody in the administration and so I had Border Patrol agents giving Secret Service agents my copies of my pardon when President go down to the border.
Wow.
I had people at Trump rallies giving copies of my pardon to Pam Bondi, Corey Lewandowski, Eric Trump. I had a four-banger captain in the Coast Guard go to Don Jr.'s book signing.
Love it.
And gave him a copy. So when my name came across, the president's desk, he was like, "Oh, why does this guy's name keep coming across my desk?" So and then it finally happened. And
How do you find out? Tell me the moment that you find out.
I'm driving to Fort Worth with my mom, and it was a couple of days. It was Christmas Eve, the 23rd, and I get a call from Ed Hendy, and apparently he already knew that I'd gotten pardoned, but the press release wasn't out yet.
Wow.
So he calls me. He goes, "Hey man, something showed up on your background, and it may interfere with your pardon." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh no.
He's like, "Yeah." He goes,
"Come on, Ed."
He goes, "Stand by for a phone call. We need to talk to the White House to get this cleared up because we're trying to make this happen." I knew I was on the short list, but nothing's guaranteed. So, oh man! So for an hour and a half between Hillsborough and Fort Worth, I'm like, "What the hell did I do?" I was like, "What was it? That lieutenant I slapped in 1991?"
Come on, man.
You know. And
you're going through the memory bank. I did something. Oh man.
Yeah, and then he FaceTimes me, and he's got the White House on another phone,
Nice.
and he's FaceTiming me, and the whole thing's actually recorded. I'll send it to you. Trump put it on his Instagram.
Love it.
And I'm standing there, and he goes, "Yeah, what?" And Brooke Rollins, the one that read me the press release, and he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "You need to talk to Brooke, explain what happened." I'm like, "Yes, Brooke, what did I do now?" And she says, "Well, Gary, I just want to tell you on behalf of the president that you've been granted a full and unconditional pardon." I was like, "What?" And I started crying, and my mom was like, "What happened? What happened?" I'm like, "No, Mom, this is good." You know, and it's
You
funny.
know you're in trouble again, Gary.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, the funny thing is she had dementia, so she kept forgetting that I had a pardon. So I was walking around with a gun. She
wow.
goes, "You know you can't have a gun." I said, "Mom, I got pardon." She goes, "Really?" Like 5 times. So she got to enjoy it like 5 times. And
So you get the call, your mom's sitting there, and she's thinking something bad just happened, but something really good. Do you have to pull over? You give her a hug?
I was pulled over because
Yeah.
they made me pull over to take this call.
Yeah.
And it was just so emotional. And Ed, I called you Ed. Joe,
okay.
let me tell you.
I'll be Joe for this one.
Yeah, there we go. It was so emotional that my phone immediately, as soon as in the middle of the call, started blowing up.
Good.
For the next 3 days, I never knew I knew so many people. I mean, I had so many people call me, people that I didn't even know. I had a lot of my friends, everybody called me, and I had Border Patrol agents that worked with me call me. I had Border Patrol agents that worked with people that I knew. They said, "Hey, so-and-so was my academy instructor, and your story is told," you know.
Wow.
And then I had Border Patrol agents told me, that said, "Hey, man, I heard about you, and you were my inspiration to join the Border Patrol."
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And then my text messages, I got over 25. I couldn't even, you know, that I had to put down my phone. It just wouldn't end.
I think you still have the video, and I want you to send it to me so I can put it in this piece, where you got to tell the president thank you.
Yes.
Where was he? You're in the crowd. You
Right.
got your way up there, and you tell me exactly how it went. But my memory is you're going, "You pardoned me."
Yes. I'll send it to you.
How did that go?
So the president and Brooke invited me to the White House because I got a pardon.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I'm kind of special. They invited me to the White House on January 6th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
On 21?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was in the White House when all that happened.
Come on, dude.
So I didn't get to meet the president because all that happened. They took
Right.
him down to the Situation Room or War Room, whatever it is.
So years later, he's running for re-election. He's running for president again. That's
Right.
when you saw him. Where was this?
Well, no, that was in McAllen, Texas.
Okay.
So that was a couple of months after. That was in June of 21.
So he's already out of office.
Yes, he's already out of office.
Okay.
And he was having a town hall with Governor Abbott and Sean Hannity down in McAllen, Texas.
Right.
And it was very clear. It was only like 120 people, but Sarah Carter got me in. So and I didn't want to be the one yelling at the president, but he was right there. You know, I was like,
How do you not thank him? Yeah.
And I was like, Mr. President. I said, "Thank you for the pardon." And he's like, "Oh, you got a pardon." And he says, "How much time did you save?" I said, "Well, it was 20 years ago." He goes, "Wow, he's got to love me." And I said, "I was a Border Patrol." And he goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Gary Brugman." He goes, "Oh, I know you." And yeah, so
He does. He
Yeah.
does, without a doubt. Gary, this story is an unbelievable story. Let me ask you this. Why hasn't it been made into a movie yet? You know how good this movie would be?
Well,
has anybody ever talked to you about,
Yeah.
let's write a screenplay,
Yes.
let's put this out because this is a story nobody's going to believe?
Well, I got one person who's been filming me for many years, since before I got a pardon. He's been filming me since like 2019. That's another part to this, Joe. Christopher Martini. He's Max Martini's brother.
Okay.
He owns a company called Triple Martini Productions. Me and him are really good friends. He's been filming me. Every time I see him, he's like, "Hey, let's get some footage." Right? So we go through it all the time. And last year he called me. He goes, "Hey, I can't tell you what this is." He goes, "Because I signed an NDA, but you got to trust me. Can I use some of the footage?" I said, "Absolutely."
Nice.
So once he got done with it, he told me, and he says, "Bro, so I just filmed a movie about Donald Trump called The Man You Don't Know, and premiering it at Mar-a-Lago, so I want to invite you."
Love it.
So they premiered it at Mar-a-Lago, and he managed to squeeze 2 minutes of my interviews into the movie.
Nice.
And everybody tells me, he goes, everybody says, hey, so was it surreal seeing yourself on the big screen? I was like, not really. I see myself on TV. I said, however, seeing myself in this big screen at the ballroom at Mar-a-Lago with the Trump family and Kimberly Guilfoyle, Hulk Hogan, Rudy Giuliani, Chuck Zito, Frank Stallone, and all these people seeing it and then applauding, that was kind of surreal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How are you doing now?
I'm good. I'm still.
Are you doing what you love?
I do a lot of private security.
In 2007, we talked about it. You said that you would become a Border Patrol agent again.
Right.
Had none of this happened. You would have just kept on
Absolutely.
defending the border.
I'd go back tomorrow if I already applied to ICE.
And I'm not cutting you down because we give each other a hard time. We're both almost 60 now.
Right.
You're not going to go be a Border Patrol agent now.
They lifted the age limits, but
So do you want to go back?
I would, but I already applied to ICE. So I'm trying to see when the Border Patrol is open. I'm going to apply.
Dean Cain is our age.
Huh?
He's exactly our age.
Yeah,
Dean Cain. Who's now advocating for ICE too, right?
Absolutely.
So you would do it if you could.
Absolutely. I can't be a police officer because the state of Texas, apparently the state of Texas, I got convicted, so
You're pardoned.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I got forgiven for what I did. It doesn't exonerate me.
It doesn't say you never did it.
Right. The conviction still stands.
So Texas wouldn't let you be a police officer.
No.
Well, with other states?
I don't know. I've checked. One of them would, but I really don't want to move to South Dakota.
Well, Gary, you're making a very good living as a private security guy. Yep. You're allowed to carry a gun.
Yep.
You're allowed to vote again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean...
Trying to go to Gaza right now.
Okay. See, that's a whole nother podcast. Gary wants to go to Gaza. Okay? Now, listen, we got to talk about that on my show.
Yes.
We got to talk about, because you've got a mindset, and I love you like a brother, you know that.
Yes,
that
sir,
I would never think of getting on a plane and going to Gaza, but you want to. Give me a minute on what the hell you would want to do in Gaza.
Well, Joe, I don't have my son is grown. I don't see my daughters anymore. I don't have family.
Yeah.
I really got nothing to lose. We said we're getting 60 years old. I don't have a retirement. I'm going to work till the day I die.
And me too, even if I have a retirement.
I pray to God all the time. I'm like, Lord, please help me with my finances, help me. And then he's putting this opportunity to go make $100,000 in 90 days. So
maybe I'm going to go to Gaza too. $100,000 in 90 days. Hold on a second.
$1,000 a day.
What would the job be? The job would be to protect humanitarian aid?
Yeah, protect the distribution centers itself with the supply and while they're distributing, protect the teams.
Gary, you're a good man. You're one of the best Americans I know. You've been through it, dude. You've been through the ringer, and the fact that you came out and you're as strong as you are, and you still love the country.
Absolutely, this country deserves the best. We're the best country in the world.
Did you ever stop? I mean, you hated it for a second, but did you ever really stop that inner love of what you thought the country was?
No, I was just I was institutionalized, and I was in a bad place.
Yeah,
I was in a real bad place. I mean, don't think I didn't ever think of ending it. I mean, honest, that goes through my head every day. I just don't do it.
Well, stop it. Stop it. We need you around.
No, I know. I fear God too much, and He's kept me here for a reason. I don't. One reason, Joe, is I don't really have a purpose. I work, I make money, I do things. I don't really have a purpose. I don't know what that is yet. I'm looking for it. I know He's got one because I'm still here. So many people younger than me have passed away. You hear me breathing. I can barely breathe sometimes, but I'm still here for a reason. I just haven't figured out why yet.
It's for a good reason.
I know.
And your purpose is you get up every day, and I know that you're out looking to help people. I just know who you are. Gary, thanks for doing this, brother. It's always good to see you. Let's see each other in person more often.
I wish.
You blow me off for 7 years at a time.
Well, you're going to come out of your little cave. You're like a gamer, man.
I'm not a gamer, but I don't come out of my cave very often. You brought me out of my cave, and I appreciate that. That's going to do it for Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags this time. Go check out everything that Gary does. It's an amazing story. I want it to be made into a movie, and I hope that happens. We'll have another episode very soon. Make sure you subscribe right here.